Reread, everyone! It's Nicole, the Blind Mage, sharing the magic of the world, and today I'm doing a book tag. To all those that are new here, welcome, and welcome to anyone that's returning. Hit the like and notification bell for future videos. So I was tagged by Lauren, and the tag is the 20 question book tag, which was created by
the YouTube channel Getbookish.
Thank you.
First question: how many books is too many in a book series?
So I feel like, depending on the fitness of the books, that a good generic one would be between 8 to 9. But I feel like a good example of a series that's too many would be the book series that were created for Dungeons and Dragons. So even though the series is broken up into sub-series like Dragonlance Chronicles and the Forgotten Realms, a lot of people still see it as one giant series. And I believe the last count, it was almost at 70.
Next question: how do you feel about cliffhangers?
I don't really care for them, but I can see why some writers use it, because there's a belief that if you're writing a series, that writing a cliffhanger will get readers to ask to be excited for the next book and read it. But if you're someone like me who is easy with books and like to figure out the plot and where it's going, it's just annoying. I'm like, I already figured out how it's going to end. I'm not surprised it's doing that.
Next one is hardback or paperback?
Now see, I don't really have preference, because when I was younger, it was any book I did my hands on, I'd read, regardless if it was paperback or hardcover. But since my vision has gone downhill, I prefer hardcovers or ebooks, because hardcovers are easier to lay flat out and hold underneath a magnifier, where paperback, it's challenging to like hold still and not lose your spot every 5 minutes. But like Lauren mentioned in her video, when you read ebooks, it doesn't really matter which form it is because it's a digital copy.
Ooh. Favorite book?
This is hard because I read a lot of books. I think it has to be a tie. I think it has to be tied between the complete collections for Edgar Allan Poe and Sherlock Holmes, because I grew up on both of them, and as Lauren likes to point out, that they're both part of my personality and they both show up my writing.
Explain.
So for Poe, I like to write dark poetry. I like to entice the audience with descriptive words. But with Sherlock, I like to show my intelligence, and I like to use context clues to lead the readers astray.
Least favorite book?
Oh man, this had me cracking up because Lauren was helping me, since I feel like it's a broad category for me with least favorite books, because if anything falls in the chip flip category, it's like, no thank you. And Lauren was like, what about Twilight? But see, to me, Twilight's not a book. It's just trash that people pass as a book. So it doesn't count.
Dang.
And then she said, say the first book that popped in your head, and for me, it's the first book in the Divergent series.
What?
I don't like it. I can't even read the whole thing. I got like maybe a few chapters in, and I'm like, no, not for me. It was like a chip flip trying to do Adventure Tale.
Speaking of chick flick book, the next question asks, love triangle, yes or no?
Heck no. I can't stand them. Now it takes away from the character development and the plot. It's more like, oh, look at me, we have to focus on romance. And it's like, can we just focus on the story?
And even though you said that it's kind of hinted at there in Hunted, our own book, it's like, yes, I like this person, but it's unrequited love, and it kind of does drive their action.
Right, but remember, it was added because you were co-writing it, not on me originally.
Yeah, if Nikki just wrote a book, it would just be like, stab, 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 blood.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with Gothic novels.
Yeah, I mean, look at the book you wrote about the asylum. That gave me nightmares.
Yeah, that one was outside my comfort zone. I wrote that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And like, what about Love Square?
Oh no! Why are you trying to dress me out?
Next question is, what's a recent book that you just couldn't finish?
For me, it would have to be Sunder, the first book in the Lunar Chronicles by
Marissa Meyer.
Thank you. And I was intrigued because it was a steampunk book on Disney's stories and twist film. And I like steampunk because it's dark, it's edgy, it has modern technology. And I don't know, I started reading this book. I didn't get very far. I had like 2 chapters. And it just didn't catch my interest. I just couldn't see a point reading past what I read.
Next one is the oldest book that we've read by a publication date.
So I had to look this one up because me and Lauren were disagreeing on which book I read was the oldest. And, sorry, it came down between A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, which came out in 1840, and Black Beauty, which came out in 1877.
Very close.
Yes. And of course, most children growing up read Christmas Carol because it's a classic. And it was one of the many books I had gotten on a collection from my grandmother. And it was a collection of classic illustration books. So I had that, I had Moby Dick, I had Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like any classic book you think of was in the collection. And I also followed Black Beauty because that was the first book she gave me as a present. So it had a lot of connection and love from her for me.
So the next one is the most recent book that you've read by a publication date.
Lauren had helped me looking at this one, and it's the Medusa Files by C.I. Black, and it came out in 2016.
Have fun answering this one, Nick. Your favorite author.
Oh man, there's so many good authors to pick from. But, as with my favorite book, it would have to be Edgar Allan Poe.
Quote the Raven.
Nevermore.
Buying books or borrowing books?
I feel like for borrowing, I would have to look at their books and see how good condition they keep them in before I ask to borrow them. But usually it's just easier to buy a book instead of worrying about the book you're borrowing being either destroyed or having pages missing or having tears or stains, and it's hard to read it.
Ew.
But yeah, I don't let many people borrow books from me. And I do, then they annoy because I shuffle them, make sure not eating food or not, wipe your hands and trying to turn pages or licking their fingers. It's like, that's just gross habits.
You're like, you can keep the book now.
Yeah, which has happened a couple of times with her dad borrowing books from me.
Next one is, what's the book that you dislike that everybody seems to like?
So this is a tie because I saw the movies, and I figured that since the movies were popular, the books had to be really good. And these books are The Golden Compass, the first book in the Dark Material series by Philip Pullman.
Mm-hmm.
And The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. And don't get me wrong, for a child, they're very good books because of the fact that it teaches you about imagination and self-study and stuff like that. But if you're an adult reading the books, it just seems really cheesy.
Well, it's like an adult trying to read YA and then they're questioning why they don't like it. They just don't fit that target audience.
Right.
I think I know the answer to this, but bookmarks are dog-eared pages.
Well, bookmarks, of course. Don't even try to dog-eared pages in my books, otherwise I'll smack your hands. And, sometimes you're in a book and you don't have a bookmark on hand, I would be creative to use other things for bookmarks. I'd use drafted papers, I'd use a clip. There are a few examples we found in Christmas time where I used money.
Money!
I see it as a crime and a sin to mark a book anyway.
Now, without listing your entire library, what's a book you can always reread?
I had to think on this because if we're talking series, then it'd have to be Banner D and Dallas Rider series, because I can reread them every single time. But if you're talking about one single book, I'd have to say it's the Collection of Grimm's Fairy Tales by the Brothers Grimm. Because it's dark, it's spooky, and it's a interesting take on classic fairy tales.
The next one is, can you read while listening to music?
Listening to music while reading is a no for me because I get too distracted by it being in the background and trying to hear what the song lyrics are and thinking, oh, this would be good for a story idea or poem idea. However, there has been occasions where it's a family's daughter to watch TV like Jeopardy or Family Feud, and I'll be answering questions and talking to them while still reading a book.
You are Belle. Next one, single point of view or multiple point of views?
I would have to say multiple point of views because one, it's my writing style, and two, it's also interesting to see the book from more than one perspective, and it gives you a second look at the protagonist. Where a single point of view or one person's point of view, it's everything is biased because it's only one person showing their opinion.
Do you read a book in one sitting or multiple?
Now, this depends on the page length and if I like the book or I hate the book. So, if it's a book that's less than 500 pages, I can read in one day. If it's more than that, then it's going to take me a few days to read it. And also, if I really enjoy a book, I'll speed read. And usually it will take me only like maybe 10 hours at the most to read a book. I really like it. But if I don't like it, it's taking me forever to read it and get through it.
This is torture. Why am I reading this?
Exactly.
Oh, I should have. That's my bad.
So for tags, I don't have anyone in particular. Maybe if anyone's watching this from Valhalla, which is a group I belong to on Discord. I know there's a couple bookworms on there. And maybe Broken Entertainment, since he is an author and book reader as well. But I feel like if you're a bookworm, lover of books, or just enjoy reading, that you should do this tag because it was really fun. And it makes you think of what makes you want to pick up a book and what would make you just walk away from that. Couple announcements before I close out this video. Lauren, aka by my site, is doing an anthology that will be running until April of 2022. And it's for anyone that writes poetry, short stories, songs, or does art that is based either on mystical creatures or magic. So if you want to submit something, just let her know. Also, down below is tags to novels I wrote, which is Hunted, The Rolls Tiss, which I co-wrote with Lauren, and my poetry collection, Shadow Abyss.
Speaking of poems, you have a giveaway.
I do have a giveaway. I also have a giveaway since I reached 100 subscribers. Woo! And down below will be the deal drop. I will be doing it until April 1st as a fun April Fool's giveaway. And fill out the form below on what poem you'd like me to write for you, and you may be chosen. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you want to see me do more book tides or any tides, comment down below. And until next time, blessed be.